Hello everyone, the second half is here. We are starting with the 17th episode of Road to Superbowl. The second half just starts and we are going to bring some really heavy weaponry and I don't think we try to show our best, in terms of our play. But with Cincinnati Bengals, we definitely have a team that's out there with teams that nobody should be surprised if they win a Super Bowl. Right now, they are marked to be 6th to 8th in terms of betting odds, in terms of favoritism. So yeah, they are definitely out there with the best of the bunch. So for you guys who are new to this series, let's just tell you what this is all about. Here we try to take you behind the eyes of general manager of every single team in the NFL. We try to not only take a look at a player and just decide this guy is good, this guy is bad, but how does his contract reflect his quality? Is he part of our future in terms of where we are trying to make a push for a Super Bowl? Do we have a successor for him that maybe he can be cheaper, rookie deals, etc. We also take a look at what you've done last year, what your roster currently looks like, because obviously for you to decide how you approach free agency, how you approach draft, you need to have quite a nice understanding of what you actually have within your roster. So that's pretty much it. We also try to get you to know some players, so that's why there are player cards here that show you with 99% of the time they contain a face of a player, so you can get to know the guy. They are all made in color and sometimes here with Bengals stripes of a certain animal in order to give you the feeling that they are actually part of this team. How we do this, what's the order? So first of all, we will take a look at 2023 season. Then we will talk about free agency. Sometimes we skip this part because it's more valuable to do it within another part that's rundown. In rundown, we are trying to give you my insight on how I feel this player are ranked. Are they amazing starters, which means level 2 or tier 2? Are they elite or are they just solid backups, which is the worst tier I have here? We do this by showing weaponry, O-line, D-line. In D-line we include linebackers. In weaponry we talk about quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers and tight ends, secondary, safeties and cornerbacks, and in coaches we include special teams. During this process, or as a separate topic, I have 3 things or topics that I feel are worth discussing. They might not be unique for this team, but they are definitely one of the major concerns or strengths of that particular team. So here it's going to be losing Callahan to the Tennessee Titans head coaching job, their former offensive coordinator, and trying to decide how much of his influence is going to be missed if they can continue to evolve as an offense without him. It's going to be a question of T. Higgins, him playing under franchise tag, might not be happy with the situation, that's why the sad face. And in terms of protection, this kind of covers both lines. I think in terms of O-line, Joe Burrow has never had great protection. He might have the best he had, but it's still not amazing. So we're going to talk about that, but it's probably more going to be part of rundown of O-line. And in terms of the other side of the ball, in defensive line, you missed or you let go of DJ Reader in free agency. And I feel that's a huge miss that could really... you've replaced him. We will tell you with who later in the show. But he was just, I would say, such an underrated player. He is just out there with best run defending D tackles in the league, and he might have covered some weaknesses that this defense could have against the run because he was just such an outstanding player for them. So I feel they might get bit exposed against run. Especially within the division, you can count on teams, they will try to run the ball. Whether it's Nick Chubb for the Browns, whether it's Lamar Jackson and King Henry, for now, you have King Henry in your division. And then obviously Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren for Pittsburgh, as well as perhaps Justin Fields behind the quarterback. So I feel like losing DJ Reader not only is big miss because he's a great player, but I feel like in the realm of this division, it's actually rather more consequential that it could be for like I don't know, if we were talking about some other division in football. So here it just feels like a bit like a big issue because you have one of the best running backs in this division. You have mobile QBs against you, so I think running game is going to be a huge part of this division, and you've lost one of the best against the run. So that's where I feel like protection might be a bit more vulnerable that you would like to have. So let's start with looking at their past season. And like, what is there to say? I think the main thing you come out with from that season is this team is still good despite losing Joe Burrow. So the talent is here. They can win defense by playing defense. They can win tough games. Jake Browning is much better backup than you expected. And Joe Burrow did not finish second season from his 5, I think he played 5 or 6. And when he was out there, I mean, barring that he was probably injured, but he was not exceptional. We have not seen him play to his standards. And I feel like you have to start raising the question about Joe Burrow longevity. Whether it's he got hit way too many times behind this line. That's why I'm mentioning protection that's gonna start to be bigger and bigger issue if Joe Burrow has another season-ending injury. Also, you can question does he have the best? I feel like he tries to lead by example, and that could be sometimes problematic because he's gonna fight more tough yardages than perhaps he should because of his health. So I feel like that's one issue that you should take a look at and try to make him be a smarter player about that. I have no issue with Joe Burrow. I absolutely love the dude. I actually love players that lead by example. I think that's best kind of leadership. I like every single leader that's willing to put up the work. So yes, but when it hurts you in the long term, it's the injuries. And it's not like Joe has played all of his games in NFL. He missed 25% of his games as of right now. So that's not a small portion. That's pretty much it. You were in one of the hardest divisions of football. You were still hanging out. You still had playoff hopes up to week 14. There was still legitimate playoff hopes. I mean, yeah, if you lose your elite quarterback, it's hard to keep up. But they still did. So kudos to them. Kudos to Jake Browning. And I feel like that's what you are coming with 2023, as well as some rookies actually played quite well, but we will talk about that more in terms of rundown. With a free agency, I feel like we covered the topic of DJ Reader here, which is, I feel like, the most influential topic, as well as T. Higgins. So we'll talk about T. Higgins right now, and then other part of free agency we will go through the rundown. So T. Higgins, I'm absolutely on board not paying him. I would say that even paying him what I feel like Bengals could end up doing, and I feel like they're prepared to pay him like 20 to 25 million a year. I would argue that he deserves that. He is a great player, but he is coming off probably his worst season in NFL. Like, definitely part of this, it was not Joe Burrow throwing him the ball. But that's just it. That's just it with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Like, I do not doubt these guys are exceptional players. Like, neither one of them, I feel like, is not an exceptional player. But for pretty much their whole careers, they had each other. You know? Like, it's much easier to be T. Higgins when the defense need to focus Jamar Chase. It's much more easy to be Joe Burrow if you have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to throw. And at the same time, it's much more easy to be Jamar Chase when you are getting thrown ball by Joe Burrow, and defense has to account for your number 2 weapon as well in T. Higgins. So you have not won during these guys' rookie contract window, especially like with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. And going forward, I'm not sure you should, or you can justify paying top money to your QB and top money to your 2 wide receivers. I just don't feel like that's a recipe for success. I feel like why are you paying top bucks to an elite quarterbacks is that they can lift up their players around them, especially wide receivers. So that's why when we will get to discuss Stephon Diggs trade with the Bills, I am actually one of probably not that many people that are actually praising Bills for this trade, as well as Texans. Like, I feel like it's a win-win, but I would be, I think, in minority to say that's a win for Bills. But like, if you consider that you could have like cap hits of 110 or 120 millions on your top 2 weapons and your QB, it just feels like way too much, because if they actually need each other to be exceptional, then they are probably not as good as we think. So I feel like you should have at best or at worst like one top weapon, and I would argue Jamar Chase is definitely the guy I would pay much rather than the Higgins, and an elite QB alongside it. I'm just not sure how it can work in cap hit situation to have these 3 guys on like 40% of your payroll. Like, it just doesn't feel like it can work, because it's just such a, not a minority of what your team's success should be around, but it's not the biggest, like it's not your whole offense, right? You still need running backs, you still need protection. Then if like Joe Burrow goes down, you're absolutely fucked with this. If like, it just feels like that's not a winning formula. So I am absolutely glad that they are playing hardball. I'm not sure if they do view the situation the same way as I do. I feel like they might be more willing to pay him, but not the 30 million plus that he might be asking for. So I'm really interested in how this situation develops, especially like with draft. Maybe we will find some interesting trade during the draft day, but in a degree, it's much harder for Bengals to do that this year, because there is such a deep wide receiver class. So I don't see any team just saying like, yeah, we need T. Higgins in order to like go and make a run for a Super Bowl. That's why we will ship you, first round pick, because we need the guy right now and we're going to pay him top bucks. Like, I don't see teams lining up for that. And if they were, there is also another option in Brandon Ayuk, who is in a similar situation, being franchise tag in 49ers. So it's not the best situations to be in for the Bengals, but I would argue the same for T. Higgins, because clearly there is not a huge market for him. So I'm really curious in how this situation is going to develop. If he is going to be bullish about maybe not playing under franchise tag. But I'm definitely on part of GM for the Bengals to play hardball with T. Higgins. I would not be willing to pay him as much as he wants. And it's not a knock on T. Higgins, right? Like, I feel like he is top 25 wide receiver in the league. Maybe top 20, maybe top 15. Really, like, you can move some pieces around in that. But he's coming off bad season. And again, we have not seen him work without Joe Burrow or without Jamar Chase. So, yeah, this is my concern. And I'm applauding the management for being harder on T. Higgins than maybe people expected. So that's the free agency. Other things we will discuss with the rundown, and that now let's just jump right into it with a rundown. So now is the time to look at your screens if you want to get to know players, because now we're gonna show you player cards for the weaponry. So I will give you a couple of seconds and then we will start. Are you ready? Are you sure? Are you sure you are ready? Okay, let's go. So Joe Burrow, Jake Browning, Joe Mixon, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, Chris Evans, Charlie Jones, Andre Iosivas, Drew Sample, Trenton Irwin, Mike Gesicki, and that's it. So for guys that are new to this series, what are we doing right now? We are showing you pictures and player cards that are being made by me of these players for you to get to know them, by their faces, because it's not that easy, to know faces of everyone around the league. And we are showing you guys that I feel like were interesting part of the roster in 2023, or they will be part of that for 2024. So that's how it works with the player cards here. Here I'm going to show you what kind of the salary cap is for all of these guys that you could have seen on the pictures. Here is a look before free agency started, and here is where we are right now. What should you look at in terms of the colors? With like this light blue, it's the franchise tag for T. Higgins, and with the yellow, it's the 5th year option for Jamar Chase. Good for Bengals that you are not seeing any red here, which means they don't have added void years to any of their contracts, meaning they have not restructured contracts in a way that would push money into the future. So what they have done for this group is several things. They have not re-signed Tyler Boyd, which, it's gonna be a loss, and he's still not signed anywhere. And I would not be surprised if he's like out there, even post-draft, and Bengals have some room. They have around 60 million in cap space. They would be like, okay, you have not found your new home. Maybe take 1 year, $3 million with us. You are definitely worth more, but somehow people are not buying that, especially after the year we had. So, come back. We have Joe Burrow. We have a chance for Super Bowl. Take a flyer with us another year. They could get him under the market value, I think, for sure. So we will see. Again, I think for him, the situation with like the deep wide receiver class is not to his benefit. And I would not be surprised if they get him back for cheap. Other than that, they brought Mike Gesicki, which for 2.5 million is, I would not say a steal, because like Gesicki was really poor last season, but it's part of the fit with the Patriots was just never there, and the quarterback play as well. The last major thing, beside T. Higgins getting franchise tag and not being signed, is they let go of Joe Mixon and brought Zach Moss. And I've heard opinions that this is a good move, that, Zach Moss is almost everything that Joe Mixon was. And I do not agree with that, because I feel like Zach Moss left like a great opportunity on the table, because he was running behind the Colts line. He was playing with Anthony Richardson out there, and I don't think he took the best out of the opportunity. He was a good player, but behind that line, I think like put Joe Mixon there, I feel like he's going to deliver much better. So I'm not a huge fan of this move. Like, I do understand that Joe Mixon like had a down year. His production was dripping a bit. But I still feel like he is a better player than Zach Moss, and skipping him for another year could have been the play. Like, yeah, I'm not a huge fan, but I don't want to bash like Zach Moss that much, but I would not be surprised if he is just a guy and they might actually take a running back in this year's draft. I would not be surprised, but obviously not with like high pick, third or fourth round. I think could be the play, and I can see definitely Zach Moss just getting like losing his starting job like very quickly. Like I think behind Colts O-line anyone can run, and I don't think Zach Moss ran exceptionally for the situation that he was in. Other than that, what is there to say? Like, Joe Burrow is an elite guy. I only have my injury concerns. I have tiny concerns about him always having like one of the best number one guy in Jamar Chase, one of the best, if not the best, number two in T. Higgins, great complementary guy in Tyler Boyd. So can he do it without these weapons? Well, probably won't figure it out this year, because I would not be surprised if he actually has all three of them back. And with Charlie Jones and Andre Osivas, you have quite interesting young players that can develop and could refresh this going forward. Like I can imagine this offense being without T. Higgins, being without Tyler Boyd, and working quite nicely going forward, because Jones and Osivas have the potential. With tight ends, you have good room. Tanner Hudson was quite nice last year, so you have him 1 year cheap. The same for Gesicki. Drew Sample, I mean, bit of an overpay in my opinion, but nothing like that you should be like super worried in my opinion. Again, one of the best, if not the best group out there. I have worries about Zach Moss. I feel like they could miss a beat with that. I have worries with T. Higgins and how he's gonna, if he's gonna like play it quietly. I would not be surprised if he gets traded, but again, I'm not sure about the market. So overall, one of the best groups in the league. With Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, you have your two elite guys. Not that many rooms can say that. Let me think. Can any room actually say that? Okay, definitely. You can say it with Chiefs, with Patrick Mahomes and George Kittle. Yeah, of course, George Kittle. Yeah. Travis Kelce. I mean, okay. Some brain fart there, and I'm not sure if there's any other room that can actually say that. Yeah, I don't think. Maybe, I'm not sure how I ranked Debo, if I have Debo in an elite category or just an amazing starter with Kittle in San Fran. Oh, but they have CMC. Okay, so definitely it works for the 49ers because of CMC and Kittle. I'm sure that I have them both in elite category, and I think I have Debo as an amazing starter. So, only 3 rooms can say that. So that's definitely, you have to have them out there, especially if your QB is an elite guy. But is there no concerns for this group? No, I would lie if I said that. But yeah, I'm excited as anyone to see Joe Burrow out there balling out. And again, I would not be surprised if they ball out Tyler Boyd back. So let's go to the protection, aka the O-line. Now it's again the time to meet the players. So I'll give you guys a couple of seconds and we can take a look at them. So Orlando Brown, Ted Karras, Alex Kappa, Jackson Carmen, Cordell Wilson, Jonah Williams, and I don't have Trent Brown here. Sorry, Trent, my bad. I'm not going to argue here, but they also have Trent Brown, as you will see within the table. Because yeah, he was like slightly late resigning that they've made. So here is where we were before free agency, and pretty much nothing happened beside they actually let go of Jonah Williams and they brought back Trenton Brown. So, like I said, I have worries about the protection that Joey Burrows is getting, and it's not like you have poor pass O-line. Like, this is a serviceable O-line. It's like C, maybe C with little minus. And that minus is pretty much about Orlando Brown having quite bad year. You know, like he thought he's one of the top guys. He did not get paid like a top guy, and I think justifiably so. And he did follow that up with one of his worst years. So I'm worried about him. I definitely feel like good starter is something that can get downgraded pretty quickly. You know, if you told me that I have Trenton Brown and Orlando Brown in reverse, like Trenton is a better guy, like I would not disagree. I just feel like that would be more getting towards what happened last season rather than like their whole career. So, but both of these guys are on my radar. They could go up and go down pretty quickly. Trenton Brown, like bringing him back for under $5 million, I think it's absolutely a value deal. And inside you have Ted Karras, you have Alex Kappa, and you actually have Cordell Wilson, who played like better than he did year one, but still he's definitely your weakest link here, and a guy that could I don't want to see could be a downfall of Bengals, because it would feel like really putting all the blame on him. But I feel like if he does not improve, he should lose his starting job rather sooner than later. Overall, like you are not paying super like heavy money here, so for that you are actually getting quite a nice performance. But being Joe Burrow, your best asset, him actually had some injuries. I would say that this is a group I would invest in the draft, and might invest as heavily as spending first round on a tackle. You know, whether it's for Orlando Brown, who I'm not sure how cheaply you can get rid of that contract. Let me check, because he is signed for 3 more years, but yeah, from every contract you can get out. So let me check how much that would be after the season. So yeah, it's pretty much spread out evenly. So the savings would be like 7 million, but you would still have like 7.5 million that cap hit for 25 as well as 26. So it's not a cheap way how to get out of it, and it's not like he's ridiculously overpaid. So maybe you just try to draft right tackle, right tackle, and you know, have a successive plan for Trenton Brown when he is over 30 at this point, as well as, you know, another piece for the interior would come a nice way, I would say, for this group. Yeah, I cannot rank them super high, but it's definitely something that they have worked on, and it's better than it was. Like that's that's what I can say about the Bengals O-line. Then let's continue, and let's move to the defensive side of the ball. So again, now is the time to meet the players, and I give you guys a couple of seconds before we start. And let's start. So Trey Hendrickson, BJ Hill, Sam Hubbard, Miles Murphy, Jermaine Pratt, Zach Carter, Josh Dupu, DJ Reader, who I have like really cool picture of. It's a shame that he's no longer here. Sheldon Rankins, who is kind of signed as his replacement. Logan Wilson, Devin Harper, Akeem Davis Geithner, and that's it. So here we were before the start of the offseason, with DJ Reader being, I would say, one of the 2 best players you have with Trey Hendrickson, and he was becoming an unrestricted free agent, and he eventually signed with the Lions. Like I already told you, I think that's a big miss, especially given what you are expected to face with Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, Nick Chubb, and the company. So other than that, they only did like make one big move, and that's bringing Sheldon Rankins kind of worse version of what DJ Reader is, but for a cheaper contract. So I do understand that, but it's definitely a loss for this line. But let's talk about how this line actually looks like right now. So let's start with interior, where losing. What? Oh my God! I'm sorry, guys, but that's just outrageous, isn't it? Yeah, I'm actually looking at what these readers signed with Lions for, and it's actually a worse deal than Sheldon Rankins got. I kind of knew that he actually did not get like the biggest contract or the contract I expected, but this just feels like way below the market value for him. Like I was expecting him to get at least like 15 million a year, getting only like 11. Wow. I feel like Lions really got a steal in this one. So, okay. That puts even more pressure, in my opinion, to Sheldon Rankins. But it's not like Sheldon is a bad player. I think he is definitely a good one. He is, again, nice complement with BJ Hill. And also he's kind of the same age with DJ Reader. So I feel like you pretty much downgraded here. And the guys just signed similar contracts and you just lost a better one. So, for like a room that we don't usually criticize with the Bengals, like this feels like a miss. But okay, like maybe DJ did not want to come back. Maybe just loves what Detroit is creating. But man, this really feels like a loss. But what is important to say, like in Sheldon Rankins, I think you are getting good value for the production. So this deal is not definitely outrageous. I just think it's outrageous what DJ Reader got signed for Lions. It's literally undervaluing him. But with BJ Hill, Sheldon Rankins, Zach Carter, kind of a mess so far. So you are missing that third piece. I would not be surprised if they spend their 17th pick for. Or 18th. Let me check. Yeah, it's 18th pick for defensive tackle here. Successor to BJ Hill, eventual successor to Sheldon Rankins. Getting cheaper at that position. When you let go of DJ Reader, I would not be surprised or stunned if you are trying to make that move in draft, and there could be one of the most higher rated tackles still on the board in Jazzy Newton and Byron Murphy. So I can see them making that play. On the edge, I don't feel like you are doing anything. Miles Murphy was kind of quietly good, earning stripes later in the season. As your number 3 right now, you are absolutely happy. Behind Sam Hubbard, behind Trey Hendrickson, quite nice group, very well put together. Maybe you hope Sam Hubbard doesn't struggle as much as he did last year. He was not as good as I think you expected him to be, but that's the only knock you have on this group. Other than that, Trey Hendrickson is okay. So he is not a premium edge guy, but he is just in that second tier, and you are absolutely happy to have him, especially for this type of money. He's worth every single penny. In terms of linebackers, both Pratt and Wilson did not have great season last year. You are actually one of the teams that pay 2 linebackers quite solid money. So I feel like they need to both step up. Because, based on last year, I would not have them as a good starters, only decent. But I feel like overall they are good players and they should have a comeback year. Both of them. With the depth, I don't think there's much to talk about. So, one thing, it just sucks to me to lose DJ Reader, especially for the money he signed. I don't know how you were not able to bring him back for that. Other than that, it's still quite a nice group. B to B plus group. You have your Trey Hendrickson, then you have a bunch of good players. You have some interesting development prospect in Miles Murphy, and I would not be surprised if you took a guy in the draft for this group. Not because you necessarily like need the guy, because I think this group is, even without high draft pick, quite well. But what I feel like Bengals front office is kind of known for, and I definitely applaud them for it, is like they put together a strong roster that does not have gaping holes. Like even the protection that I was talking about, like it's not dreadful. So it's not like there is a clear position that you have to draft a player, and it's more like we see the board develop and then we just take the best player available, unless it's a position that we have, like they are not going to take the best quarterback available, right? Like they have Joe Burrow. But other than that, I think they have this luxury, and it's something that they should get credit for. So overall, quite a nice D-line and linebacker room. And now let's meet the secondary. Are you ready, guys? Are you ready? Okay, so Mike Hilton, Cam Taylor-Britt, DJ Turner, who looks like he's playing volleyball here, Nick Scott, Daxton Hill, Jordan Barton, DJ Ivey, Jidobe Awuzie, and Geno Stone. I don't have Von Bell here. I don't have him even in table, but we'll talk about him. So sorry, Von, you could have been out there, but yeah, you are kind of late signing, not as late as that I could not bring him up to this. But yeah, I was maybe a bit lazy to do a slide for just Von Bell, because I don't think he is necessarily like what brings this team to another dimension type of signing. But again, here we are with the table. Here we were before the offseason started, and here we are right now, with Von Bell actually not being here. So what they did, they kind of make one big move, bringing Geno Stone from the Baltimore Ravens here, and I like this move. I'm not sure they would make it if they knew that Von Bell is going to be released from the Panthers. So it might feel weird in a way, but he is a great player. You kind of stole him from Ravens, so that always helps the situation. And I think the money he's been getting here are really like a testament to what the safety market out there is for safeties. Like you are getting a very good player for $7 million a year. So man, it's like safeties are running backs of defense, it seems like. Other than that, your safety room suddenly is quite deep, because Daxton Hill, Jordan Barton, and Von Bell. I would not be surprised if they try to move one of these guys to play more of a slot cornerback, But we'll see how they do, because they have 4 legit starters with Geno Stone, Daxton Hill, Jordan Battle, and Von Bell. With Jordan, you have draft investment. The same with Daxton. So yeah, I'm really curious how this groups unveils, but I feel like this is one of the deepest safety groups in the league, and it's not lacking talent. Maybe you don't have like the top guy here, but it's definitely a good group, and you are paying 12 million a year for this, because Von Bell only signed for 1.2 million in cap hit, so salary. So because he has some money from the Panthers as well. So it's quite a nice group for what you are paying it, and it's not like you are not paying much because all of these guys are on rookie deals. It's because some of the veteran guys took quite nice deals here, and obviously this position is in a state as it is. So Daxton Hill, former first round pick, like first round but 31 actually. So like it's a first round still, but you know how it is, and that's like something you you will be used to as a Bengals fan, hopefully for the future, if you are a Bengals fan, because obviously that means that you are out there playing in the Super Bowl, hopefully winning next time. In terms of cornerbacks, you've lost Chidobe Awuzie, who is following the Callahan to the Titans. But I think like you are still set up quite nicely. Cam Taylor-Britt had quite a nice season, with Mike Hilton being very good player already. You have your top two guys. DJ Turner, you hope he gets better because he was a rookie last year. He ended up playing over 800 snaps and did not look good in them. But if this is like your biggest problem, then you should not complain that much, right? So maybe you have slight issue as your number 3 corner. Okay, that's cool. So I'm obviously, when I'm talking about this group, I'm quite okay letting Chidobe Awuzie go. And again, I would not be surprised if this is a group you spent maybe even that premium 18th pick for. Also, what definitely can come to mind is there are still some cornerbacks on the market that you can bring because you have some cap space. So I feel like I'm not worried about the situation. This is good situation. You maybe are liking that top guy, for both safeties and cornerbacks, but overall quite a nice group. B-, I would give them. Nothing to worry about. This should not be to the detriment of the Bengals. So that's pretty much the rundown of this whole groups. Now let's go to the coaches. And we'll start with Zach Taylor and Dan Pitcher, who these two guys will be responsible for the offense. And the question is how much they will miss Callahan. Dan Pitcher is being brought from inside. He was a quarterback coach from the Bengals, so he's well known within the organization. They obviously trust him. The only question that I have about both of these guys is when Bengals struggled, I think it was early 2022 season. The thing is, it said that it was Callahan who kind of put the train on the track back, changed the offensive schemes a bit so they would get the most out of Joe Burrow. But these schemes are already in place, so it should be just continue with a good work and you are good with it. So I'm not worried that much. I think they will be serviceable. I'm not having them as top head coach or top offensive coordinator. To me, both of them are average. Or especially Zach Taylor is average to slightly below average. I don't have that much trust in him. And Dan Pitcher, obviously, he's not proven, so he's gonna be out there as one of the worst ranked offensive coordinators until he earns his stripes. But given that you have an offensive-minded head coach, I'm not sure that should be a huge issue. With Lou Anarumo, I hope I have this name right. Over average, kind of B type defensive coordinator, borderline top 10. I would not call him guru, but he's close. I think this defense has a lot of talent and he gets a lot of production out of it. And the fact that they were still out there competing despite the offense obviously struggling without Joe Burrow, again, a lot of credit can come to Anarumo. And I feel surprisingly, when you have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, it could be the defense that's actually making them a contender in a way that a lot of people don't view Bengals. I think general public, when they talk about Bengals, it's Joe Burrow, it's Jamar Chase, sometimes it's T. Higgins. And they're okay, who plays? These DJ Reader, Trey Hendrickson, okay. Yeah, I feel the defense is quite underrated for what they actually are, and Lou is quietly doing quite a nice job. So, Special teams, Brad Robbins, cool mustache dude, but you need to get better. Like, he was one of the worst punters in the league. And like, because he's on rookie deal, he's kind of that 30-something former Australian. Not former Australian. He's probably still Australian, I would say. But he was brought here from playing rugby, I think, down there. So I guess they hope that he will go like Michael Dixon route and develops. But from what we saw last year, he was a problem. So I don't say that very much for special teams, but yeah, I think he's on the verge of being cut unless he improves. You cannot say that with Evan McPherson. He's one of the better to best kickers out there. Like, it's hard with him because one year he could be like the best guy out there, and another he has his bumps in the road. So he's not the most consistent guy. But I would still have him as maybe even like top 5 guy. So you kind of have your strength in Evan McPherson and your weakness in Brad Robbins. Overall, special teams are, kind of good. We will see what the situation is going to be with Brad Robbins going forward. So we are coming to an end. Now it's the time to assess the window for the Bengals. I think the window is going to be kind of always quite nicely open with Joe Burrow. But the division is not getting softer. You can argue that neither Steelers, neither Browns have their franchise QB, so that could be your advantage going forward. Unless Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson come back to what they were in like 2020. But Lamar is not going anywhere. So Baltimore is pretty much like, you will have these 2 QBs, elite level QBs in their prime, facing each other 2 times a year. Like, as a fan, you have to love that. As a fan of Bengals, you might want Lamar to move, but he's not going anywhere. So for 10 years to come, we should see Lamar Jackson versus Joe Burrow matchups. And like, the argument about Pittsburgh and Browns not having this situation sorted out is true. So I worry about them much less going forward, especially the Browns, because they kind of made last year and this year their window where they are not paying Deshaun Watson that much, or actually like the year before even that. So now his cap hit is just going to the absurd amount. So I feel like with the Browns, this might be the last year that you are actually a lot worried about them. Then I feel like they will need to cool off a bit and rethink the situation with the cap hit. And with the Steelers, Steelers are my like ultimate purgatory team, with a coach that is being praised to always get over 500. But yeah, that kind of means to them that they're kind of stuck in that situation, and I'm not sure if they will get out of it. But it's not like you are happy to have a purgatory team in your division, because they are always good enough to beat you in both games. So while I don't feel like it's great to be team in purgatory, I don't also feel like it's great to have a team in purgatory in your division, because the fact about them is they are just good. They are not great. You probably won't have to worry about them like winning Super Bowl, but as far as like getting them first round in the playoffs, having to beat them the last day of a season to actually make the playoffs, that's where they can ruin your season. So that's where Bengals definitely have their worries. Also, Joe Burrow and injury concerns. Like, I'm gonna pound the table. Like, unless he gives me 2 years healthy, I will have these concerns. Overall, great team. They don't have money pushed. They don't have like really bad situation with any players. And they have an elite QB. So the window, it's going to be open for all 3 years. I feel like maybe 25, when you still have Jamar Chase under 50 option, is going to favor you a bit more, because Pittsburgh won't have 1.2 million or like 7 million to pay Russell Wilson and Justin Fields to be their QB. Deshaun Watson cap hit is going to get ridiculous, and we will see if Ravens still have King Henry for that season. But I'm not saying that Bengals cannot win Super Bowl this year. Like I said, 7-8, best team in the league, definitely works. And what I really like about this team is something I've talked about earlier. Is like I really like the approach of having a team built with no nonsense, with no like pushing money down the just being straight, being honest with each other, being kind of bullish on the players like T. Higgins, and in terms of draft, just because you have quite nicely built up roster, you can just take the best value out there. And I feel like that really is to the benefit of what Bengals are trying to build and will try to build going forward. So I like the Bengals. I feel like you can feel the breeze coming from their open window, and we'll see. Maybe even like the still working hydra of Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase with healthy Joe Burrow. That's the episode 17 come to an end. If you like it, if you agree, if you disagree, please let me know down in the comments. Leave me likes, leave me subscription, whatever you want. I'm very happy for your support, and we'll see you with the episode 18. Until then, have a nice day.